listening to the Jca Sports podcast on Spotify and Anchor.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? How's everybody doing tonight? The Jca Sports podcast is back live on here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you hit make sure you hit that bell on our John Conavi Facebook page. That way, you guys get notified when the Jca Sports podcast is on, along with the EAFP, which should make its return soon, I guess. So I hope, and also Sports Trip live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And make sure you follow us on our other social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok as well. I'm not solo right now at the moment. Mr. Jose Contreras will be joining me right now. Jonathan Playa will be on the comments. But as always, the link is on the comment section if you guys want to join us, talk about almost everything. We're gonna venture out a little bit today over everywhere. We're doing basketball with the Chicago Bulls, and we haven't really talked about the Lonzo Ball news here on the show, so we're gonna do that today. Obviously, we're going to do week 4, the Bears versus Giants this week. Where do you guys feel? How's your comfort level? What's your prediction for the games? We're going to do our new segment on Wednesdays, or our second show in the week, called the our favorite bets, the bets of the week. Apparently, Johnny Parlay won't be with us today, but I'm pretty sure he'll send his picks along with this guy right here that just joined me right on cue. I love it. With Jose Contreras right here. He's also doing his picks of the week too as well. Tony loses money all the time. That's what we call him. Well, actually, I'm the one that, I'm not gonna lie. Normally, I'm supposedly I'm the one that lies or fibs or flip flops a lot. But when it comes to gambling, I'm not the guy. I am not the guy. I hardly hit, and when I do, it's a rarity. Let's put it like that.
First off, it's Tony Pick'em. All right,
Tony ain't nothing.
I just won $160 just by picking the right games, Eric. Easy money. All right.
Easy pickings.
I got a strategy. I'm doing it again today. I picked the Bengals. The Bengals are winning. Shout out to Tua Tagovailoa, though. I hope he's good because that was very scary.
Oh yeah, that was a very scary hit. I seen the replay and everything.
For those idiots, for the idiots who are on Twitter putting memes up, that's just y'all some stupid ass.
Yeah, it's Twitter. It's I think it's Twitter. It's where dumbasses go out and become very powerful with words and with their fingers and whatnot. Twitter fingers, I think that's what they call them, right? I think that's what they call them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for real.
Cool.
Tua Tagovailoa, hope speedy recovery. Hope everything is well. We're getting the updates little by little as we get news to pass by, see how his health is going, because that was a scary hit and that looked pretty bad from the get-go.
Yep.
But yeah, we're like I was saying, rundown Bears week 4 basketball, Lonzo Ball, and the news of what we think. And also, it's finally over. There will be no playoff baseball in Chicago. Is the White Sox collapse the biggest collapse in Chicago sports history? We'll get that a little later on in the show today. But Jose, man, how are you, bro?
What up, bro?
Not much. I'm here, just chilling.
Shout out to everybody watching. Our boy Sam already in the comments. Dolphins might be in some big trouble. Hope Tua's like, you know what? You're right, and that's sad. It's sad to see because the team look good, man.
Yeah, they
look good. Tua's had a great year so far. I know it's been a short sample size, right? But been playing pretty well, and that offense, top 5 offense so far, is it looked pretty scary, man. But not as scary as that hit. So hopefully everything is good for him for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah, we do hope. We don't wish injury or anything, ill intent to anybody in the professional sports. As much as we talk smack about the players, we never intend any type of injury, that would ruin a career or end the season to anybody. So yeah, to Tua, hopefully everything comes out okay and everything comes out great with Tua, because that wasn't That wasn't good. That wasn't good at all.
Yeah, but back to the show, Eric.
Back
We
to
got
the
you back.
show. Back to
Right.
the show. This is what
Bring the
this is what
energy
we
back.
do.
Right, let's go.
We come in here and we're gonna do the show, man. So week 4. Let's start off with that. The Chicago Bears against the New York Giants. Obviously, we have issues. We have questions. We have problems. We have no answers. But how confident do you feel in the Bears this week against the Giants on the road?
I'm actually, believe it or not, pretty confident only because the Giants are literally in the same boat in a way. Like I'm in order for me to make my picks, in this pool that I'm in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at all statistics. I look at literally like offensively, defensively. I look at previous games. I look at stats from individual players, how the defense does compared to other running backs, wide receivers, blah blah blah, the ones that that they have faced or whatever. And I was doing that with the Bears and Giants game earlier today. And Eric, the similarities with this team is freaking crazy. Both 2-1,
Well, good
but
one.
everything like across the board, defensively, they're almost the same. Now, obviously, Daniel Jones has a lot better numbers than Justin Fields
I
does.
think everybody has better numbers than Justin Fields right now,
Right,
passing ways.
right, exactly. I mean, you mentioned it, right? There's 32 teams and 32 quarterbacks have better numbers than Justin Fields. But yeah, but honestly, it's like, but both teams are similar, and it's crazy. So that gives me a
Yeah.
lot of confidence because it's not like we're facing a team that's superior than the Bears are. You know what I mean? No, they're going and facing a team that has almost the same type of struggles. Both good at the running games, but yet not good defending the run. Offensively, not there. Decent defensively, so we'll see how it goes. But what I like about the Bears is that they're well coached.
Yeah.
Yes, we can criticize the game plan all we want offensively, but they're disciplined. You know what I mean? And that gives me hope. That gives me hope. I think they can win this week, and it's just gonna give more Bears fans false hope. But I think it's a dub. I think it's a dub. I really do. What's going on, Zay? Three
Zay, what
one.
up, homie?
Go Bears. Says Giants couldn't beat Dallas without Prescott. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They couldn't beat Dallas without now. Give it. Look, Dallas has a good defense, right? But that Cowboys don't have a good offense. So it's like if the Giants couldn't outscore them, then maybe we have a
Mhm.
shot. What do you think?
I think they do. They do have a shot this week, for sure, to beat the Giants. Obviously, I had them. See me preseason predictions, right? I had the Bears team 3-1. So if I want to continue with what I said in the beginning of the year before the season started, I'm still going to ride that, right? 3-1. The Bears going to the Giants, to New York and getting their dub right there. There's a lot of question marks. 100%. Is everything perfect? Hell no. But like you just said, and you alluded to everything. If there's a side of the ball where I feel a lot more confident in the Chicago Bears, is definitely the defense side of the ball. Which let's be honest, Daniel Jones, he's not an NFL quarterback, bro. This is it. Like the Giants are gonna find a new quarterback next year, like in the draft.
Okay, you're saying that, but he has better numbers than Justin Fields right now.
Everybody has better numbers than Justin Fields.
Okay, so then Justin Fields,
But he's relying a lot on Saquon Barkley, just like we're relying a lot on David Montgomery and maybe possibly Khalil Herbert this weekend,
not maybe
right?
possibly for sure, because Khalil Herbert had a game last game again.
Exactly. But I mean, depending on the health of David Montgomery's RB1, but you're gonna get great running effort from both players, anyways, is what I'm trying to say,
Right.
right? Um, The only thing he has better numbers. He has better numbers than Justin Fields, but Daniel Jones ranks 30th amongst all quarterbacks. So it's kind of like the numbers may be inflated, yeah, but it's not all that much. We know that the talents reside a lot on Justin Fields. We see that. We saw that. We just haven't seen it this season. The little small glimpse of when he threw that pass to Pettis against the 49ers. I think it was to Pettis, and a little bit of last year. Like we see that Justin Fields has something to play the quarterback in this league. Daniel Jones hasn't, and he's played much longer than Justin Fields. So the Bears will win. In my eyes, they're gonna win. Is it gonna be comfortable? Probably not. Is it gonna be by a lot? maybe I want to say they're gonna win like a 24-17 game. The Chicago Bears on the New York Giants.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a really close game. I wouldn't say they're gonna put up that much points. I mean, both teams are struggling to score offensively. I could see a more 17-10, maybe even 14-17. A low scoring game, but close. Just one similar, Eric, to the one last week against the Texans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
I
they
could see
still
it.
ended up scoring 23 points last
And,
week.
and
So
right, but at the end, literally at
at
the
the end,
end, last second, it was a 2020 game. It was still low scoring.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I
No,
can
no, for
see it like
sure.
that.
Well,
I can see it like that, and I can see a lot of those Bears games like that, which is fine as long as they're winning games, right? Like one thing I liked about the Detroit Lions last year, was that they were at least competitive enough to when they, even though they lost,
mm-hmm.
they only won one game last year. I think they lost majority of their games. They were all competitive, and they were games to be like, okay. You know what? The tide is turning, and you see what happened. You're seeing it this year. Yeah, they only have one
Right,
win,
right.
but again, they've been in every single game, and they're a top 5 offense right now.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, hey, the Bears' rushing attack is number one in the league, and by a large margin. There's nobody even close. The next closest team that has the second most rushing yards trail the Bears by I think it was like 27 yards or something like that. It's crazy. The rushing attack is real. We're back in 1984, and the offense on the passing side seems stagnant, while the rushing attack seems like we have Walter Payton in the backfield. Sam goes on the Big Creation Facebook comments page. 2017 Bears, essentially who turns over the ball the least, right? The over less. Jones and Fields love turning it over. If the Bears disrupt Jones' pocket, they will win the game. I agree with you
Facts.
wholeheartedly there. Isaiah in the comments also has a question with us, which is probably if you put it in the gambling aspect, you'll get some money or you'll probably lose but gain some of it back, if that makes any sense. Will Fields throw any interceptions this game? Jose,
Yeah, I can see interception from both quarterbacks.
two
Uh,
interceptions from both quarterbacks.
I would say at least one. I would say
Okay.
at least one.
I kind of want to lean against no, simply because the money is there. If we're putting this in the gambling aspect, right? Uh, I think he'll get more money if he doesn't turn it over than if he does. So, but it's Justin Fields. We still haven't found the passing game. But my quote right here, Jose, I'm gonna remove you real quick so you can read my quote that I wrote right here. And I have Fields will find a way, 3-1. That's he'll find his way back into passing the ball. He'll throw over 100
Don't you
yards.
ever remove me again for that dumbass poster you have in the
I'm gonna
back of your.
remove everybody so they can read my whiteboard. Okay,
You,
you're not special, homie.
you're lucky. You're lucky. I haven't set up my studio yet, man.
Yeah,
Ever
you know
since
what?
I moved,
Mine's under construction. I
I know,
bought
right?
some. I
Mine
bought
too.
some
Ever since I
scarves.
moved over here to Indiana, I lost my studio, so
Yeah, no,
I gotta recreate it downstairs in
you
the
got to
basement.
recreate it. Now, you
I
know
gotta
what?
recreate it.
My soccer trophies are making their way this weekend over here, so I'm gonna have to find a spot for that. So this camera is just gonna keep going further and further back. I gotta find a long HDMI thing for this thing so I can watch. So bringing that in, I bought some scarves. I just need somebody to paint this wall for me. I might do that during my free time. So you're welcome to come to help me, build this place if you want.
Yeah, you know what? I'm out of here. All right, man.
The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are more than welcome to join our show. The links are on the comment section. Hop on and talk sports with us. We're talking about the Chicago Bears. How confident you guys feel in the Bears against the Giants? Are they going to go 2-2? Are they going to go 3-1? We want to know what you guys think as we're moving on here until the next segment. We're going to be talking about the Bears throughout the most entire time. So you have what do you have? Your football picks for the week? What you got going?
Yeah, I sure do. I sure do. You want me to go? You want to go first? All right,
No, you
bet.
go first because I'm still thinking over mine.
All right, let me pull this up real quick
So
for
we're
you
gonna
guys.
do this new segment, guys, where we trying to help you guys win some money. Okay, these guys apparently have won hundreds of dollars gambling. Jose and Johnny Parlay. I'm mainly more Johnny than Jose.
No,
All right,
Johnny. I'm calling him Johnny. Really, John has won as far as gambling is concerned. As far as parlays going, on FanDuel, he does more DraftKings, but he's been winning a lot on DraftKings. I won. So last week, like I said, I won in the pool.
it just
Right,
got brighter.
I outpicked everybody, but 20 other people won the money. The week before that, gambled 25, won a parlay, hit almost two. It would have been 200 if Gabe Dave would have played, but it was the week before last, so he was out. So I didn't win like one something, right? We've been making money. We've been making money. We got a little formula going. But here's the thing.
You guys got a formula, or you have a formula?
Well, my formula worked for me last week, so don't.
Did it really? Because
It
we
worked.
we kind of seen it, and it
I'm
really didn't.
I'm $150 richer. So
Mm, sure. Okay.
bet 10 win 160. That's a profit, bro.
I mean, anything with a plus is a profit, homie.
Exactly. So
Chase Edmonds, come on. Oh no, that's not even
All right,
Edmonds.
like today, for example, right? I had the Bengals winning.
All right.
Everything told me, my alarm. Everything told me the Bengals were going to win today, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys another one. Right? The Cardinals are, believe it or not, the underdogs against the Carolina Panthers. Don't believe that. Don't believe the odds. Don't believe them. I don't see any way the Panthers beat the Cardinals this upcoming week. So take the Cardinals on the money line. The Cardinals will win this game outright, Eric. I'm pulling up the odds right now. Sorry, I wasn't prepared. I didn't think you were going to go right into it.
Yeah, my bad.
But let me get right into it. All right, so almost in any app you're in, almost the same thing, but you have Cardinals plus 105. Take the points, man. Plus two, plus two in the spread. I don't think it's gonna be that close. I think the Cardinals win. Honestly, I think they win by 10. So yeah, take the two. Take the two.
Take two.
I don't see it being no, all right, here it is. So take the over two. If you're gonna bet in the parlay, take the over 43.5. The over hit in 5 of the Arizona Cardinals' last 5 games versus the Carolina Panthers off a loss. Cardinals coming off a loss from last week across the regular season and in the playoffs since the start of 2015. So every time they're coming off a loss and go against the Carolina Panthers, they want the over hit 5 straight times. Take the over 43.5. I could definitely see it happening. And they are favorite. Like I said, the Panthers are favored to win. I don't see them winning. I don't know about you.
That's easy
I don't
money.
believe it. Yeah, it's easy money. I don't believe in Baker Mayfield one bit. That's easy money. I can see why Vegas thinks that the Panthers, because the Cardinals are not defensively are not good against the run, and Christian McCaffrey could have a game. But if you wanna bet in the same game parlay that McCaffrey will go over his yards or get a touchdown, do that, mix it in. But Panthers aren't winning that game, not one bit.
Interesting. Okay. You got another one, and that's your biggest
Definitely
one.
got another one. This one's a little bold, right? Bear with me, but like I said, I'm not giving away my formula, but I did the numbers, and I have the Raiders defeating the Broncos this week. Raiders get their first win against the Denver Broncos. Now the Denver Broncos have the second best defense in the NFL, right? But offensively they're not as good. They're not as good offensively. The Raiders, we know, can score points as long as Derek Carr is throwing to Devontae Adams. And one thing about the Denver Broncos, they're not good defensively against the pass, especially to the opposing team's number one wide receivers. In almost all their games, they have given up over 100 yards just to one player alone. Devontae Adams is Derek Carr's failsafe. Okay, Derek Carr knows what people are saying about him. All right, he knows that he's going to be compared to Aaron Rodgers only because of Devontae Adams and what Devontae Adams was able to do in Green Bay. Now he's here. He left and came to Oakland. So in order for him to prove people wrong, he's going to want to score touchdowns. Devontae Adams is like I told Paulina every week. If you were to bet anybody to score a touchdown, Devontae Adams is the guy because that is his number one target. That's probably his. I mean, no disrespect to Darren Waller, but he's going to look for Devontae Adams first and always. I can see the upset here with the Denver Broncos defeating with the not
Raiders,
Oakland, with the
Las
Las
Vegas
Vegas
Raiders.
Raiders defeating the Denver Broncos. Book it. All right, and then thank me later.
Yeah,
You know,
he said it's a bold prediction, but if he can't get the names of the teams right, guys, that means don't
swear to
bet on it,
God.
guys.
You know, hey, look, they were Oakland before, okay? But yeah, no,
Yes, I know.
it's my upset pick of the week. I picked the Colts to beat the Chiefs last week. In the pick 'em, Pauline was looking at me like, really, like, yeah, like that's my upset special right there. I picked the Colts to beat the Chiefs. They
Okay.
did. Same formula. I'm telling you, the Raiders are going to defeat the Broncos and get their first win. If not, no, I'm not going to say it's not gonna. It's going to happen. All right, plus 125 on the money line. Over 45 and a half. I wouldn't go over. I
Okay.
wouldn't go over. I wouldn't go
Interesting.
over. But plus 21, 25. Those are my picks, Eric.
Okay.
I
Cool.
have more, but I'm keeping that for me. Let me see if these two hit, then I'll give out more next week.
All
Cardinals,
right.
Raiders, make your money.
All right. Cool. Interesting. Interesting. All right. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I picked
All
the
right.
Bears too.
You picked the Bears. I picked the
Yeah,
Bears too.
everything told me to pick the Giants. Like but the same thing happened last week. Everything told me to pick the Texans, and I did,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up losing. Everything told me to pick the Giants. I want to pick the Giants, but I was like, I can't go against my Bears again. It just didn't feel right, so I'm going with the Bears.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So I'm going different. If you take an NFL, I'm probably going to be the one that probably goes around the world a little bit more, right? With the Future Bowl coming back, and it's kind of leaning towards its final leg before the World Cup starts. And an interesting one, and you might think of it this is a little bit weird and a little bit biased of what I'm about to say, but the North London Derby, if anybody's interested in what I'm about to say, it's Arsenal versus Tottenham, two teams in North London, who is the biggest rivals in that general area. Play on Saturday at 6:30 in the morning. But just like Jose gets a little nuggets, I'm gonna give you nuggets too as well. And the last North London derbies that's played at Arsenal, Arsenal has won 5 out of the last 6 games, and the other one was a tie, leading in playing against Arsenal at home, outscoring Tottenham 11-6 in those matchups. The game's at 6:30 in the morning. If anybody's interested in waking up that early to watch that game, that's me. But Arsenal are favorites in this game. You still get plus money. Anything you want to do, plus draw or a Tottenham win, all of it, it's plus. That's how tight this game is, right? Arsenal being in second place, Tottenham being in third, right behind them, with just 2 points separating them in the league table. Um, you get plus 105 if you put Arsenal as the money line. On the draw is 275, and then Tottenham is plus 250. So no matter what you bet on, you're gonna get money regardless. That's the game of the weekend for Saturday. You want to go that one too as well. And then also, this one's a little bit tough for me, right? And it's the only reason why. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw here. Graham Potter is the new Chelsea manager, and they still haven't gotten off to a flying start. It's a plus 220, 275 for a tie between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Crystal Palace has been a little bit better this year. They are in the top 10. I think they're seventh in the Premier League too as well. It is at Chelsea. So I'm sorry, it's at Crystal Palace. And the only game that Crystal Palace have lost so far, they've won the rest of the games other than their loss against Arsenal in the first game of the season. They're looking pretty good, but Chelsea still has the star power there, plus 265. Sorry, 265 on DraftKings. So if you put 105, and against Arsenal winning, and then a draw between Crystal Palace and Chelsea, that's a plus 648 right there. You bet $100, you win, or $10, you get $64, something like that. So those are my two picks for the weekend. And just for funs and giggles, 8:30 in the morning Saturday, the Manchester Derby, Man City versus Manchester United. That one might end up in a draw, believe it or not, and that one's a plus 475. So if you want to put that one with your NFL bets, you might get some money. Maybe parlay them with what Jose just said, and maybe you'll come out with a lot more richer. So
Yeah, I like you gave a little extra one. If we're gonna do that, Jets over Steelers,
add that to it.
you got to do it.
Add
Jets over
that to
Steelers,
it.
they're gonna win it. They're gonna win for sure.
So those are our picks of the weeks here for the weekend.
This
Next week we're gonna get
I
Johnny parlays.
this is where we start to see Trubisky getting benched this week after. If it's not mid game when they're losing to the Jets, it's going to be after this game when they lose to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Pickett. He's gonna be.
Yeah, Pickett's.
He's gonna be the new QB in Pittsburgh, man. Because right now, offensively, they're bad.
Yeah, I do feel like Mitch will get benched by halftime.
Yeah, I can see it
Yeah, for
happening.
sure, for sure. You guys are listening to the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you hit the little bell, get notified when our show's coming out live. As always, the link is on the comment section. You guys are more than welcome to hop on and join, talk about sports. Give us your predictions for the Bears week 4 matchup. Against the New York Giants. Are they going to go 3-1, 2-2? What's your prediction? Your bold prediction on what the game is going to be? We just gave you guys the bets of the weekend, and we're probably going to give you guys a lot more as the season progresses. Jose, this is our third podcast that we've been on, and we haven't even talked about the biggest Bulls news out there, that Alonzo Ball is going to have surgery on the knee once again, or maybe even for the first time. Who knows? Nobody knows. But Lonzo Ball is not going to start the season with the Chicago Bulls, as he's going to go surgery for another 4 to 6 weeks. And then Billy Donovan on
No,
one of the radio stations here in Chicago.
more than 46 weeks. No.
Yeah, he said they could possibly even miss throughout the remainder of the season for Lonzo Ball. Now, Jonathan, he's not here with us, but
there's been reports today. I don't know if you're going to get into it, but there's been reports today saying that he is expected to play mid-season. It's just now it's changed to a few months. But regardless of the fact, that's concerning because you're hearing so many different reports. The coach is saying the entire season, but now the Bulls are saying, "Oh no, they're only gonna miss a few months." It doesn't look good at all.
No, it doesn't look good at all. And John has already called Lonzo Ball a bust here in Chicago. I want to know. I'm going to get your take from everybody here that's watching and seeing us too as well. Do you think Lonzo Ball is a bust here in Chicago in just only 1 year from his new deal?
He said, "No, I wouldn't say bust yet, only because we don't know exactly when he's going to come back, and if he is, it was a 4-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 4-year deal.
4-year deal they signed. It was only 1 year. Even if he does miss, let's just say he misses the entire season, he still has 2 more seasons to make up, right? To make up for it. Let's be honest. If he has 2 really good seasons out of 4, is that really a bust? If it's 2 really good seasons out of 4, is that really? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so, right? It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Definitely.
Because what was the thing that we kept saying last season? When healthy, when this team is healthy, when we're fully healthy, when this team is there, when Lonzo comes back, blah, blah, blah. And yet we're kind of going into the season with the same exact excuse. Oh, well, when Lonzo comes back, and the whole team is fully healthy because we don't have Lonzo and blah, blah, blah. Exactly. Fully healthy, good. And so is everybody else. The one thing I can say about this team, Eric, that I'm excited for, I personally think the team has gotten better.
Okay.
I do think the team has gotten deeper.
Yeah.
And
that for sure, I agree.
We have Isaiah, who will start in place of Lonzo, Io, Dragic. We still even you could even put Caruso, right?
Wow. I think if you put Caruso, you kind of lose a little bit more on that 2 side of the ball. You may be right. Even moving Io to the 2.
And we even have Kobe, but that's what I'm trying to say. We have depth, right? Caruso could play the number 1.
He can.
Yeah. You would maybe want him to back up Levine at the number 2 guard, but again, that's where you still have Io who could play that position. You have what's his name? I just named him Kobe White, who's more of a scorer who could play that position, right? Dylan Terry. What was our draft pick that we just?
Dylan Terry. He's a 3. Yeah, 2 hybrid.
He's a 3. He's a 2-3. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He could play either or, right? But the fact is that we're deeper this year than we were in years past, and I thought the Bulls always knew Lonzo wasn't going to be able to play because that's why they picked up Dragic. That's why that's why we kept Kobe White. We kept we drafted a guard hybrid small forward, right? Because of that. And now that we know that he may be gone, if not half the season, the full season, is disappointing. But I wouldn't say it's a bust, to answer your question. Not yet.
No, definitely not a bust. I know John likes to be his little blasphemous self and just come up with hot takes.
He's a Bulls hater. Right? We said it. He's always been the Bulls hater.
Yeah, he's always the Bulls hater, right? I'm the Rose hater. There's always a hater somewhere in the Chicago Bulls in our group here.
Yeah, it ain't me.
But you're
It ain't
absolutely
never
right.
me. It ain't
No,
never
not
me.
with you. You're probably more of a Bulls fan than a Bears fan, even though you don't want to admit it. But I want to
I
say
would
so.
admit it. The Bulls have my heart. The Bulls have always had my heart.
Okay, I'd say that
And
too.
the thing was about I am with the Bears where I was with the Bulls right before they fired Garden Pax. They needed a change.
Right,
So now that we have the change with the Bears, I'm very optimistic and curious to see what happens here. But if I
right.
keep seeing the same BS, I'm gonna check out, bro.
No, for sure. No, you're definitely right, and I wouldn't call Alonzo a bust. Not right now. You're right. It's only 1 year out of this 4 year deal, and when he was here, the Bulls were the number one team in the East, right, and probably even the whole NBA. I don't really recall on top of my head how the Bulls started off last season, but I know for a fact that they were the number one team in the East for sure.
Yeah,
They were the best shooting team in the East, efficiently wise. They didn't take a lot more threes or shots at all, but when they did take those shots were going in, so they were efficient in making those shots. Allah thanks credit to Lonzo Ball giving them that opportunity, giving them that space to take those shots, right? And you're right. And defensively, he could lock down. Lonzo on the defensive side of the ball too as well helps the lack of on Zach Levine's side, on lack of Vooch's, and a little bit on DeMar DeRozan. Although DeMar can hold himself accountable, from time to time. And then when Caruso came in, it was hard to score on the Chicago Bulls when they were both on the floor at the same time. So no, Lonzo being a bust, no. Does he help? Hell yeah. I mean, if we get any type of play like we did last year with them when they first started the season, that only puts them up into relevancy right now for the Chicago Bulls because that's what you and I wanted anyways when this all started in the first place was relevancy,
yeah, we
right?
got that now. I want
We
more than that.
got that now. You're
Right,
absolutely
more,
right. But
more.
without Lonzo Ball, or maybe even with Lonzo Ball, are the Chicago Bulls out of the top four, out of the top eight
All right,
in the Eastern Conference?
Eric, you might. No, I think you would agree. Some people might be mad. Even with a healthy Lonzo, we're not top four in the East.
Yeah.
We're not better. Even with Lonzo healthy, we're not better than the Boston Celtics. We're not better than the Philadelphia 76ers. We're not better than the Milwaukee Bucks. We're not better than the Brooklyn Nets. We're not better than
The
the
Miami
Miami
Heat.
Heat. But I feel like there's one more team that we're missing.
I mean, are we better
Honestly,
than the Cleveland Cavaliers with the trade that they made
that is up for
for
debate.
debate?
That is, I need to see what that Cleveland team can do before I would say that they're better than the Bulls. But on paper, they might just be right. I'm not going to say anybody else because I think the Bulls, when healthy, are as talented as the four teams that I just mentioned. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't see them being better at the moment, um, and that's disappointing to say. Now I could be wrong, right? Like maybe when fully healthy they are better. We don't know. We really don't know. We're not going to see that anytime soon.
Right.
Like hopefully the way that I can't even talk today. The way this team is constructed right now,
Yeah.
that with us being a lot deeper, that we can be one of the top echelon teams in the East. The East has gotten a lot tougher.
It got stronger.
It got a lot stronger than it was in the past. It was always the West, but the NBA in general is just tough because even in the West you have dogs. You have teams
Yeah.
that are that are up there that are
It's
competitive, that are
it's
really
still a
good.
top four battle in the West.
Absolutely.
Just like how it's like a top four, maybe five, maybe six, maybe
Yeah,
possibly even seven
well,
in
it
the
can even
East.
be top five because remember the Clippers were down Kawhi Leonard last year. So once he comes
Yeah.
back, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, him and Paul George definitely, and
Yeah,
they also made some moves anyways to strengthen up that team too as well.
absolutely.
So you're absolutely right. Finally, the one thing that in the NBA that's been missing for years, it's parity on both conferences, right? You have your 5-6 teams in the West, and you have your 5-6 teams in the East, where if they battle it out, you're gonna get great competition all around.
We haven't even mentioned
Um,
Atlanta Hawks with the acquisition of Dejounte Murray, now
yeah,
paired up with
and
Ice
that's what
Trae.
Isaiah said right here. We better than
Yeah,
Atlanta. That's even up for debate too as well. I don't know how well are we better than the Atlanta Hawks. You still have like the up and comings. The Charlotte Hornets who made some noise last year. Who else? Who else? I feel like other teams improved too. It's just not clicking to us right now in the East. Like the East got stacked.
well, no,
The
I
East got
know.
better.
We didn't mention Toronto,
We mentioned Toronto. They're
who's a
always
strong
there.
team,
They're always coached
right?
well. You
Charlotte
know,
Hornets are, I don't believe they got stronger. Um, and then yeah, who else did we?
like I said, the
I think I,
Cavs, the
I think
Pistons,
that was it.
they always
The
play hard
Pistons,
anyways.
the Pistons are getting better.
Hmm.
Pistons are getting better.
So it's just it's
So
again.
remember, real quick, Eric, remember what our fault was last year? Defensively, we weren't good once Caruso was out, um, Lonzo was out.
Yeah,
We were hurting defensively,
100%.
and our bigs, right? We know Vucevic isn't a true center.
He's a
He's,
liability.
he's more of a stretch four,
Yeah,
right? You got to use him as a stretch four. You can't use him as a true center. It's not going to work. He's not tough down there. He's pretty soft.
yep.
We know that, but the guy can score.
Hit
The
right
guy's
on the
one.
money.
He's a great scorer for a big guy. So we need him to be that stretch four. That's why the acquisition of Andre Drummond I like.
Yeah,
Hopefully, when we pair him up, I know he's not going to start, right? But when he is in there, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot of good minutes. Hopefully, he's able to help at least with that, with getting rebounds, being tougher. He's not a defensive big, but I think overall it's better for us to have someone who could play the center in a good way, in a true
yeah,
way.
no,
You know what I mean?
no, I get you, and I feel like in tight situations, either to come back, with 7 8 minutes left in the game, or probably even close out minutes, you're probably going to see a Bulls lineup that features, Alex Caruso at the
Yep.
one, Zach at the two,
Yep.
Rosen at the three, Vooch at the four, and Drummond at the five.
Yep.
Just so you can get some scoring, in and around the perimeter, and then Drummond just there to clean up the glass, and then in defensive situations, you might even see, Alex Caruso at the one, or at the two, Io at the one or at the two, DeMar Rosen at the three, Patrick Williams at the four, and maybe even Drummond at the five. You have your defensive lineup right there. Yes, we can see this from hindsight 2020, taking a step back and seeing that the Bulls finally got depth a little bit. Patrick Williams, I think, needs to take that next step forward offensively and defensively to be something here for the Chicago Bulls, to make this team at least be in the consideration, not only just falling off of the top four, even the top eight, but also trying to compete there and making them like, hey guys, yes, we have injuries, but guess what? We're still here knocking on the doors. And hey, guess what? We were the number one team last year with Lonzo Ball coming back. When fully healthy, we can be pretty scary, and they can hold their own if they're all fully healthy. You're absolutely right. And I can see a situation just like that.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be that guy to do that this year like we did last
No,
year.
me
Oh, we're
neither.
fully healthy. I'm not even going to mention it
No,
because this team, Lonzo Ball's not going to make all the difference. He's going to make a difference, but not all the difference.
you're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's not going to make us better than all the teams I mentioned before. You get what
No,
I'm saying?
he's definitely not better. He's
So,
definitely not
so if
making
we're
us better
not, so
than Philly, Milwaukee,
I,
Maybe Brooklyn and Boston. He's not going to make us better, but at least in the situation, he'll probably make us compete a lot more and make us not look as silly as that first round exit against Milwaukee.
right? But that's what I'm saying. It's like he's not going to get us back. He's not going to get us over the hump. So
Right.
if right off the bat we're not a good team with the guys that we have,
Mm-hmm.
the season's over. Let's be
Oh,
honest.
definitely,
Even when Lonzo
100%,
comes
man.
back, he's going to make us better, but
Right.
not world beaters. We're not going to be champions, and
Nah, I don't,
that's where AK and Eversley. That's where they have to really dig deep and see. Okay, what is it that this team needs to get us to championship level? We know stars make. We know stars make it. You
Yeah.
need one or two superstars to even consider being in the finals, right?
Yeah, yep, 100%.
Unless you're one of those, Cinderella teams like the Pistons were the year they won against the Lakers, or
The Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks. Well,
Recent.
I mean, Dirk Nowitzki was good, but you're right against the Miami Heat, who had their first year with Bosh, Wade, and LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're one of those teams, but those teams were deep. Those teams were just clicking on all cylinders, and they had a good mixture of young guys and older guys. JJ Barea was younger around that time, and then you still had Jason Kidd and Tyson Chandler and Marion.
Wasn't Jason Terry on that team too as well?
Jason Terry, Sean Marion, Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, right. I mean, The team was good. It was a good Dallas Mavericks team when
It
they beat.
was, and it was well coached too by Rick Carlisle too. You got to give credit
Yeah,
where credit's
exactly.
due. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, there's every once in a while you get that one outlying team that hey, hi Oli. Look, shout out with the babies. Mine's crying upstairs right now. Um, you get that every once in a while in the NBA, you get that one team. The Toronto Raptors. I mean, even though they had Kawhi Leonard, I guess you can make them an outlier. One superstar with a bunch of great role players. A few season backs, but you're right, Jose, and we're not going to do that this year. I think this year, last year, we asked for relevancy. You and I think we were the only ones that were kind of level headed here, in the Chicago Bulls and their aspects throughout the season, and we absolutely got that between what the Bears, what the Bulls did last year. And you're right, they're a top 4 or 5 finish. They were in the playoffs. They took a step ahead. They look silly in the NBA playoffs, but we wanted them there in the first place. Anyways, we weren't that upset. Now it's let's take it to the next step. And the next step is a 7-game series in the first round,
The next step
or
has to be deeper in the playoffs. You made it to the playoffs. You weren't going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, but we all knew that already,
right.
right? We all knew that already. So it has to be getting into the second, maybe even the Eastern Conference Finals. That I mean that if you're good enough to make the playoffs, it's tough because you look at the White Sox last season, right? Everyone, and even this season, everybody thought they were going to be good. But the last 2 seasons, they made the playoffs. You got to be good enough to win a series, and if you could win the first series, you can win the second series. At least in my book, right?
Right.
If you win the first, you can win the second. So to me, honestly, you have to be good enough to, if not make the Eastern Conference Finals, be a team that you're confident. Okay, this team's gonna make the Eastern Conference Finals one year. Right now, we can't say that about the Bulls.
Right. No, I'm always that person that be better than next year. And what's better than that? Be better than last year. And what's better than last year? Well, win 2 games in the playoff round, right? So that's my expectation right there. Make the first round series a series and not a gentleman's sweep, how we called it, or how it was called, right? That's how I view my teams. Taking the next step. Is it setting the bar pretty low? Yeah, but I also don't want to put my expectations high and not be and them not
What's the fun in
completing it.
that? You're a fan. Come on, put your
No,
expectations
I
in there.
understand. I understand that. I completely understand with you. I completely understand. But that's how I am with all my teams, that including the Bears, the Cubs, the Bulls, even my soccer teams, right? Except for one team. There's one team I always expect the championship year in and year out, simply because of their history and how well that they played, and that's Club America in Mexico. That's the only team I expect them to be in the finals every single
It's
year,
in tight.
because they always get there year in and year out, or every other year. That's the expectations, right? But even with all my teams that I root for, I always say be better than last year, right? That's just me. I set my bar real low because I expect
So then you
real.
want to win a playoff game.
Right.
It's not even winning extra 2 games. It's win a playoff game.
No, but win an extra game. That's
No,
just me. That's just me in
and then you
general.
still lose.
Make it a 7-game series. How
If the
about that
White
one? Is
Sox,
that one? Is that one? Is that one a
if the
lot
White
more
Sox
more
would
more
have went to,
acceptable for you?
if the White Sox would have went to the playoffs this year, right?
Right.
And won one extra game, it's still the same thing. You got bounced off the first round. It makes no difference.
I'm just saying make it into a series. I'm
No,
saying, is that acceptable for you?
no, it's not.
Well, I mean, that's just me.
To me, right? If you're going to be better than last year, then you're going to win a series.
No,
It doesn't matter if you get swept or a gentleman's sweep, or if you win 2 or 3 games. If you go to a game 7, doesn't matter. You still got bounced off the first round, regardless.
all right. I like to set my expectations kind of low, and so that way my exceeding expectations will oversee everything. That's just me. I keep it simple.
Nah, Bulls, you got to win a playoff series and at least try to make the conference finals. Otherwise,
Yeah, no, not
otherwise,
not me,
otherwise,
man. I just make a
otherwise what are you
series.
doing
Just
is
make
not
it a
working.
series. Make it a 6, 7 game series. Whether if you get bounced or you advance, make it a 6 or 7 game series, and you exceeded my expectations, and I'll be okay with it. You just
I'm
gotta
excited.
play. You just have to play well doing it.
I'm excited,
That's
right?
that's the least that I expect, that you make it look good while doing it whether losing or winning a series. You just got to
Yeah,
look good.
because
That's
because
it.
I'm because I'm excited, Eric. I think this team. I want to see what this team can do because you have Zach Levine
Same.
who's healthy, right?
Yes.
We knew the knee issues he had throughout the season, especially at the end of the season,
He's going to be the main guy.
right? And then you
Yeah.
still have DeMar
They got faith.
DeRozan who's coming off a great season,
Yep.
who everybody thought he was the guy. So I want to see if he can replicate that, and if he can, with Zach Levine healthy, we've seen what these two can do, especially in the beginning of the season. They were the best duo for a while, and again with a deeper team, I am excited. I am. There is a lot of excitement there with it, but there always is a lot of excitement with the Bulls. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my blood gets pumping when it comes to the Chicago Bulls. Trust
I
me.
would. I would love to if DeMar DeRozan loses a little bit of his numbers, but those numbers are gained from Zach Levine. I think we're all winning on that aspect too as
100%.
well. You know, if
100%.
Patrick Williams, steps it up a little bit, averaging 2 or 3 or 4 more points more than what he averaged last year with the, a few more rebounds, I'm okay with that too as well. I think Vooch is probably the only one that you're gonna get consistent numbers, same in double doubles, whether his numbers are in the 13s or 15s in the scoring aspects and the 10s to 12s in the rebound aspect. I think you're already going to get that from Vucevic anyways, and then everything else from Io, whatever improvement progress he's made from year 1 to year 2 to whatever you get from Terry, and obviously whatever Caruso could bring in. I think everything else it just elevates the Bulls into more prosperity of coming out of the East or becoming better in the East than what we see right now, current day, before even tip off begins for preseason.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
same
said
here.
it's tough in these, but I think the Bulls
Yeah.
will be able to hold it off.
And speaking of preseason, you're listening to the John Konavi, the Jca Sports podcast here on the John Konavi Facebook page. You can also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can watch all our Jca Sports podcasts along with Sports Trip Live and the EAFP podcast on those platforms, and just follow us on every social media platform, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, along with TikTok and also Instagram. Jose, it's happened. We don't have Johnny crying White Sox fan here today with us, but it's set in stone. The White Sox have been eliminated. My question to you and to everybody in the chat watching us right now on Facebook or any other social media platforms: is the White Sox collapse the biggest collapse in Chicago sports history? Talking about you're talking about the teams that had the higher expectations to coming out, that had these expectations, a la the 2017 Chicago Bears coming off that high with Matt Nagy, that disappointment there. Um, the hype around it's basically more the hype around the team that we thought they were going to take the next step.
I'm going to say
Everybody,
no. I'm going to stop you there and say no
really?
because the biggest disappointment over a hype team in Chicago history has to be, to me, the Bulls after Derrick Rose, like the year after Derrick Rose lost, when he suffered his ACL, right? Because that was a year we all thought the year he suffered his ACL was a year we all thought that he was going to, we were going to win a championship. He ended up tearing his ACL. We don't blame the Bulls after for losing, right? Because you lost your MVP best player, but it was everything that happened after that. He was supposed to come back after that ACL tear
Mm-hmm.
and be back to the MVP roles and deliver us a championship, whether it was the year after that, whatever. His whole entire tenure after that, the ACL injury, I think that was a lot more catastrophic in Chicago history because that was actual that those were expectations. Those were realistic expectations for that team with him on it, and it never came into fruition because the year after that he got hurt. The year even after that he got hurt, and when he was finally healthy, and we had Jimmy Butler who came into his own, he wasn't the same, and the team wasn't the same, even with Noah, because then whatever happened to him, plantar fasciitis and everything that happened to him that reeled him, the fact that Luol Deng with his spinal tap and everything that happened after that, it's like there was no bigger collapse in the Chicago Bulls of that era. Thibodeau gets fired. And then we went into obscurity for the next 5 or 6 years after. There was there's nothing worse than that, Eric. Let's be honest. Because those were realistic expectations. The White Sox, 2 years in a row, couldn't make it past the first round. Couldn't even win a game. They won one. I think they won one last season. The season before, or was it last season before?
In the playoffs, I think the last two seasons they only won one game.
Yeah, they only won one game in the last two playoffs, right?
Right.
There was high expectations, but you kind of seen it throughout the entire season that they had issues. They had injury issues. They had coaching issues.
Okay, the coaching I give you then. The injuries ones, I think we've heard the same song and dance for the
But
last 2 years when it came
but
to
it's true,
injuries.
Eric. If half your roster is going down throughout the entire year, 2 years in a row, that's injury issues regardless.
Yeah, but you know what? But the one thing this year about the White Sox that was supposed to be different
Was the
was
coaching.
the fact that the bullpen got beefier. The pitching was a little bit suspect, but it was better. It was better than expected, throughout the year. The one thing that we always question, or the one thing that came into question throughout the whole entire season, is that they didn't have a true left-handed bat, and that was the thing. But you know what? But with all said and done, or what we said was they have bullpen, right? They had the bullpen beef that gets you into the playoffs and will ride you throughout the playoffs and will ride you throughout the whole entire season. But also the one thing that they had that everybody talked about was they were also one of the deepest team in all of baseball, that they had depth, that everybody was okay where they were at, that everybody would pick up work from here and there, this, that, and the third. And it was just like that's why every and plus they hit home runs and they could rake and this, that, and all of this. And like the hype for the White Sox was real to the point that it wasn't just only regionally in Chicago, but it was nationally throughout all of baseball. Everybody picked the White Sox to win the World Series or at least make a World Series appearance. This is to me, even with the Derrick Rose issue, like you said, the ACL, Derrick Rose, that Derrick Rose team still didn't reach NBA Finals expectations because, hey, guess what? It was in Miami. LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh.
But
Right?
we've
Was that the
seen,
only team? Was that the only team that was
able to be beaten by teams like San Antonio and Dallas and Dallas.
that's fine? But that's fine. But
Chicago had
you're
something
speaking.
brewing, Eric.
You're speaking teams that were going to compete with them in the finals. If it was for the Chicago Bulls will compete for the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference.
We're not going to go there because
No, we're not going there. But
we know how you feel about Derrick Rose and that Bulls team. You always said they were never going to win a championship, even if he wasn't going to get hurt. You've always said it.
Right.
And
it's
I, John, and everyone else in Chicago felt otherwise. But that was a bigger collapse. But here's the thing: going back to the White Sox, right?
But let me finish the White Sox thing. But the White Sox, they were the biggest collapse of all Chicago sports history because the hype was real. The hype was there. That team was poised to win, supposedly through national market and regional market. They just choked. They flat out choked. And when they were healthy, right, the few games that they were healthy, they were still a team that was below 500 right before the injuries has happened.
I don't think it's the most in Chicago sports history.
It's the biggest collapse in Chicago history.
I would even say the Cubs after the 2016 season was a bigger collapse because that window was supposed to be way bigger than it was, and then it just fell through the cracks.
Jose, they went to the NLCS series that year, the year after.
But after they won a championship, Eric, they were supposed to win more. How many championships did you see them winning after that first one? You think that was going to be the only one?
Done. I mean, it was one.
No way.
Right? It was
that team. The way it was built was supposed to win multiple championships. It was
right.
We went to the NLCS the year after, yes, but even after that, it just the decline was so hard, so horrific. And look where we're at now with that team. That's a collapse. Just what 3 good years? 15, 16, 17? Right?
Yes.
And really? For that team, the way it was constructed?
They had a play-in game too to make it to the
Come
playoffs.
on, man. I get it. Yeah, but we couldn't hit a damn ball to save our lives. I remember that season.
I do too.
That hit offensively, we sucked.
I know. I understand that. I get that. But at least that
collapse was bigger.
It wasn't as overhyped as the White Sox were this year.
That collapse was bigger
as hell this year. It was to the point where I even picked them to go to the World Series, bro. That's the one thing. When you get me drinking the Kool-Aid on how good you're supposed to be, and I agree with you on that aspect, It's just proven that this team it had a harder collapse than any other
The
Chicago
thing
team in
is,
sports history.
the thing is, we did it based off a win. We did it based off on paper and how they played throughout the regular season, but we seen what they were 2 years in a row. The reason why I say they're not the biggest collapse in Chicago sports history because we had real expectations with the Chicago Bulls. We had real expectations after winning a championship with the Chicago Cubs, and those two teams not getting it done the year after the years after Rose got hurt and the Cubs won a World Series is I think is a bigger collapse than the White
No,
Sox.
hell no, not even. I don't think so.
I
I
think
honestly
so.
don't. The
I
Derrick
think
Rose
so.
one, it's you could find. I thought you were gonna get a bigger argument for the team for the Chicago Bears season, the one the year after they lost after the double doink
No,
season.
no,
You
because
know, I thought
no,
that would have been a bigger one because everybody had high expectations of the number
nah.
one scoring defense, the number one defense in the league the year before, and they lost after a field goal. Off a
You know
field
what?
goal,
You
should
know
I
what?
say?
That's a good one too. But it's not. Okay, those three are worse than the Chicago White Sox. But here's the thing about the White Sox.
No, no, no,
Real
no. I
quick,
don't think so.
real quick about the White Sox. Their collapse was and has to do with coaching. Yes, the injuries played a huge part, but LaRussa and his coaching style and the way he was, from all reports throughout the entire season, all we kept hearing was that he really wasn't holding these players accountable. It was after he got whatever happened to him and went to the hospital and he was away from the team, you started to see a little spark ensuing, but that spark even fizzled out. Why is it that the Chicago Cubs, after the All Star break, has a better record than the Chicago White Sox?
They play harder, bro.
Exactly. But
They
why
play
is that?
harder. Like
Why is that? Why do they play harder? It's a mentality, and that has to do with coaching.
man,
It has to do with the way the culture is in that organization.
I, I
And
always
the
said
White Sox don't have that.
no.
They didn't have it with
I
this
always
coaching.
said that their worst offseason signing was Tony La Russa when they first signed him in the first place. I
There you
stood
go.
my ground to it. I stood firm to it. A lot of people thought I was crazy because he's a Hall of Fame manager. That's fine. He was a Hall of Fame manager. You're not going to take credit away from him from doing that. You know, he was a great manager 10 years ago. That was the
Yeah.
last time he coached before he got the job for the White Sox, right? But they but but they were better under his tenure that first year. They just couldn't get it done, I guess, against the Astros, who were the better teams. They ended up going to the World Series, but it was just it's just the expectations. Again, the national hype around this team was so real, and everybody did believe that this team was going to make it this far and was the next up and coming team. For them to fall out of grace this hard and this quickly, and not only lose in a division that's weak. It was very weak. They were there. They even with this up and down season,
You see what the
still
Guardians did?
only two. There were only two or three games out of first place in this division, in the Central Division, and they still ended up coughing that away and got eliminated and losing 8 straight games. You talking about the overhyping of this team? The overhype on this team was real, Jose. This is why it's the biggest collapse in Chicago sports history.
The disrespect was real as well with the Guardians when they were
I loved
celebrating.
it.
When they celebrated, they were saying "F the White Sox, fire Tony" chants.
I love
Like,
it.
you
I
know,
loved it
they took the fact that everybody picked the White Sox to win personally.
personally.
Nobody gave the Guardians
Landslide.
a shot at winning the division, and making the playoffs. And afterwards, when they were celebrating, saying "Fire Tony" and "F the White Sox," oh my god!
I loved it.
The
Every
Cubs,
single second, I
the
loved it.
Cubs fan in me was like, "Damn, that's what's up."
Hell yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like, "That's so fucked."
That is great. That was just ultimately great. And you know what? Deservingly so, because again, they thought that the White Sox were going to take this Central by a landslide, and it ended up being the other way. This is
Yep.
why, to me, it is the biggest collapse in Chicago sports history.
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, definitely 100%. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, guys. We like to. I just seen the touchdown from
That's a dub. I picked the Bengals. I put 10 points on them. That's a
nice,
dub.
nice,
I knew it.
nice.
Tony pick them.
So, the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Thank you guys for watching, Isaiah. Thank you, Isaiah, for commenting. Sam, everybody else watching us, listening to us, thank you very much. We'll be back on Monday to get our reaction from the Bears Giants game for on Monday, as long as our bets, see how well our bets went for over the weekend too, and obviously week 4. We're gonna get a little of that and whatever sports news come across. For Jonathan, who wasn't here for us, Jose Contreras, myself, Eric Avila, we'd like to thank you guys for listening, watching. Good luck this weekend on gambling. Good luck to your teams and your fantasy football weeks this week. Go Bears. And as always, Jose, hit that outro. See you guys.
What a finish. Wow, that is unfreaking believable. What a way for a ball game to end.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's terrible. My God. The humanity.
They may be the drunkest couple in the history of sporting events.
I loved his face.
I would suspect that fan is done for the night. Here's the thing. When you steal something, don't wear it.